In immersion transducers, this is the testing material and this is the transducer. So here transducer is not in direct contact with the testing material. In between these two, there is a liquid which is called a couplant. It may be water or any fluid, so it is the water couplant which is filled in the water tank. This transducer produces ultrasonic waves and these ultrasonic waves are passed through the testing material and they are reflected back. Those waves are received by the transducer. Okay, here we have used the couplant in between these two. What is the use of the couplant? What is meant by couplant? We will discuss. In this method only, when compared to contact transducers, in immersion transducers only, more amount of ultrasonic sound energy will be passed through the testing material because there is a couplant between these two. Couplant is used to minimize the acoustic impedance between the two media, that is between the solid and the air. If there is no couplant between the transducer and the testing material, the acoustic impedance will be more between the air and the solid. So if there is no liquid here, the ultrasonic waves will pass from air medium to the solid medium, whereas testing material is the solid. There is the acoustic mismatch, acoustic impedance mismatch will be more between air and the solid. Then ultrasonic waves will be reflected back completely without entering into the testing material. So to reduce that acoustic impedance mismatch, we will use couplant between the transducer and the testing material. So what is meant by couplant and what is the purpose of the couplant, we will discuss here. A couplant is a material, that means it is a liquid that facilitates the transmission of ultrasonic energy from the transducer into the testing specimen. So it facilitates the transmission of ultrasonic energy which is produced from the transducer into the testing specimen. So that liquid or the material is called a couplant. So a couplant is necessary because of the acoustic impedance mismatch between the air and the solid is large. Between the air medium and the solid, the acoustic impedance mismatch will be more. To reduce that acoustic impedance mismatch, we will use couplant. So it is necessary, couplant is necessary because to reduce that acoustic impedance mismatch between the air and the solid. So nearly all the energy is reflected and very little energy is transmitted into the testing material. So if there is no couplant, then the most of the ultrasonic energy is reflected back. It is not entering into the testing specimen. Therefore, nearly all of due to the acoustic impedance mismatch, all of the energy is reflected back and very little amount of ultrasonic energy is only transmitted through the testing material. So the couplant is used between the transducer and the testing surface. Between the transducer, suppose this is the transducer and this is the testing specimen. And this is the transducer which produces ultrasonic waves. So in between these two, transducer and the testing specimen, couplant is used. It displaces what it will do. It displaces the air between the transducer and the testing specimen. So it is possible to get more sound energy into the testing specimen. When the couplant is introduced between the testing material and the transducer, it displaces the air between the transducer and the testing material, and hence the acoustic impedance mismatch will be reduced. Then more sound energy will be passed through the testing specimen. So couplant will be, it is highly viscous liquid and it is non-toxic. Non-toxic. Mostly they are gels and pastes. Couplants are mostly gels and pastes which are highly viscous and they are non-toxic. It is generally used couplants in daily life is glycerin, grease, thin film of oil and water. These are used as the couplants. So in immersion ultrasonic testing, as we have observed in this diagram, in immersion ultrasonic testing method, both the transducer and the testing material are immersed in the couplant, which is nothing but the liquid. As we have seen in this diagram, in the immersion ultrasonic testing, both the testing material and the couplant and the transducer are immersed in the couplant. Then most amount of ultrasonic energy will be passed through the testing material and the defects can be identified. So coming to the applications of ultrasonic waves, one of the major application of the ultrasonic waves is non-destructive testing, which is called NDT. Shortly it is called NDT, non-destructive testing. What is meant by non-destructive testing? It is a procedure to detect the internal imperfections of a material without causing any damage. Without causing any damage. That's why we call non-destructive. Without causing any damage, we can identify the imperfections or the defects present inside the material. That method is called the non-destructive testing. Suppose after the products are prepared from the industry, if we want to check whether the material is perfect or not, without destructing that material, we have to find out the internal defects or any flaws in that material. Then we will use this non-destructive testing method. So these are in non-destructive testing method also there are different methods. Those methods are, first one ultrasonic testing, and second one X-ray method, third one magnetic methods, and the fourth one thermal and electrical tests. These are the various tests which we can use in non-destructive testing. Here we are concentrating on the uses of ultrasonic, so we will discuss ultrasonic testing. So basically non-destructive testing is a method to detect the internal imperfections of a material without causing any damage to that material. Okay. So ultrasonic testing is the mostly used NDT method. On which principle this ultrasonic testing works? What is the principle? Ultrasonic waves are reflected or scattered from the surface. Let us consider a material or the product or the testing material. Through that testing material, ultrasonic waves are passed. When ultrasonic waves are passed through that material, if there is any flaw in that material, from that point the ultrasonic waves will be reflected back or they are scattered. So ultrasonic waves are reflected or scattered at any surface or internal discontinuity in the material due to the change in acoustic impedance. So when the ultrasonic waves are passed through a testing material, in the path of the ultrasonic waves, if there is any discontinuity or if there is any internal discontinuity or if there is if it reaches the end surface, from that point the ultrasonic waves are reflected because there will be acoustic impedance acoustic impedance change will be there between the discontinuity and the ultrasonic waves, so they will be reflected back. So using this principle, ultrasonic testing works. By catching that reflected signal, we can detect the size of that discontinuity or the shape or the distance from the beginning of the product. We can determine all these parameters by collecting that reflecting signal of the ultrasonic waves. So ultrasonic waves of high frequency travel long distances in straight path and reflect at new surfaces. So ultrasonic waves are having high frequency and they will travel long distances without causing any loss to the amplitude. So ultrasonic waves of high frequency travel long distances in straight path and they will be reflected at new surfaces. If there is any defect is there in the path of the ultrasonic waves, they will be reflected. So they are reflected at the new surface, so they are used to find defects. The reflected ultrasonic signal is used to find the defects. Ultrasonic testing is used in industries to detect the flaws and the thickness measurement. The products prepared in the industries, manufactured or fabricated in the industries, they are tested using ultrasonic testing. Then we can determine if there is any flaws, or we can determine the thickness of that product also using the ultrasonic testing. There are three basic ultrasonic testing systems are there. Again, ultrasonic testing is classified into three tests. There are three testing systems. They are commonly used in industries. In industries, we will employ various ultrasonic testing methods. They are pulse echo system, transmission system, and resonance system. Through these three ultrasonic testing methods, we will find the thickness of the material, or we can find the flaws in the material in industries. They are pulse echo testing system and the through transmission system and the resonance system. So what is pulse echo testing method? Pulse echo testing method is the most widely used ultrasonic test. In ultrasonic testing, there are three methods we have discussed. Among those three also, pulse echo testing method is a frequently used method. In this method, we will use only single transducer. What is meant by a transducer? Transducer converts the electrical energy into sound energy, ultrasonic sound energy, or the ultrasonic energy into the electrical energy. Also, that single transducer is used in the pulse echo testing method. Here it is the transducer. It is the single transducer which generates and receives the ultrasonic sound waves. So here in this method we will use only single transducer. It acts as both the transmitter as well as receiver. Transmitter means which generates the ultrasonic waves, and receiver means which receives the reflected ultrasonic waves. So here single transducer acts as both the transmitter as well as the receiver. So here in this diagram it is the single transducer. Transducer produces ultrasonic pulses of short time. So this transducer produces ultrasonic waves of short time. This is the testing material. So this is the testing material. Through this testing material, ultrasonic waves are passed using this transducer. This transducer acts as the generator and it generates the ultrasonic waves of short pulses. So they pass through the testing material. So they are passed through the testing material. If they have not found any discontinuity in the path of the ultrasonic waves, they are reflected back from the bottom surface of the testing material. On the other way, if there is any discontinuity or defect present in the path of the ultrasonic waves, then the ultrasonic waves will be reflected from that defect, and the reflected signals will be received by the transducer again. So it receives the reflected signals of the ultrasonic waves also. So all these signals are read by a CRO, that means cathode ray oscilloscope. So the signals will be connected through a cable to the monitor. On the monitor we will observe the signals. So initial signal represents the generating signal. That means the initial signal, initial ultrasonic waves. The first initial generating signal represents the initial signal of the ultrasonic waves, and these are the receiving signal after the reflection. When the ultrasonic waves are reflected back, they are received by the receiver. So these signals represent the receiving signals. These ultrasonic waves are made to pass through the testing material. So initially we will use the single transducer which produces the ultrasonic waves, and they are passed through the testing material. Okay. When the ultrasonic pulses strike the new surface, that is either defect or the end surface, they will reflect with change in amplitude. So when the ultrasonic waves are passing through the testing specimen, they are reflected back either when they strike new surface. That new surface may be either defect or the end surface. That reflected signal amplitude will be changed. The change in amplitude of the echo pulse gives the information of the type or size or the shape of that defect. So how much amplitude is changed for that echo pulse, that means the reflected signal. The change in amplitude of the reflected signal represents, or it gives the information about the type, size and the shape of the defect present in the testing material. So the time gap between the initial pulse and the flaw pulse gives the distance of the defect from the scanning surface. The time gap between the initial pulse, when we pass the ultrasonic waves into the material, the starting time and the time interval when we will receive the pulse from the defect gives the distance of that defect from the starting surface or from the scanning surface. So the time interval gives the distance of that defect from the scanning surface. So that or the time gap between the initial pulse and the end surface pulse. The time gap between the initial pulse and the pulse coming from the end surface gives the thickness of the material. So the time taken by the ultrasonic pulse from the initial point to the end point gives the thickness of the material. So when the defect is large, if the defect present in the testing material is large, its size is very large, then what happens? The entire signal is reflected. The entire ultrasonic signal will be reflected back, and the end surface echo pulse disappears. There will be no end surface pulse echo because the defect is very large. Since the defect is very large, then there will be no end surface echo. The entire ultrasonic signal will be reflected back. So those signals will be shown on this display screen. So this initial pulse represents the generating signal, and the next two pulses represents the receiving signal. Using these signals or the time taken by the signals from the initial point to the defect place, we can determine the distance of the defect or we can determine the thickness of the material using this pulse echo testing method. And the second method is through transmission testing system. Second ultrasonic testing method is through transition testing system. In this through transition testing system, we will use two transducers. Whereas in the previous method we have used only single transducer. Here we will use two transducers. Here this is the first transducer and this is the second transducer. First transducer acts as the generator. It generates the ultrasonic waves. So the generated ultrasonic waves are passed through the testing specimen. This is the testing specimen. Initially the first transducer produces ultrasonic waves, ultrasonic pulses of short time. This transducer produces ultrasonic waves of short pulses. The ultrasonic pulses are made to propagate through the specimen. When the ultrasonic pulses strike the surface, that is either the defect surface or the end surface, they will be at the end surface. Some part of the pulse is reflected and the remaining will be transmitted. Here if the ultrasonic wave strike the defect, it is reflected. Or if it is reaching the end surface, it will be transmitted and it is received by the receiver. So both are connected to the CRO, cathode ray oscilloscope. So the signals will be displayed on the CRO. So the first transducer generates the ultrasonic waves of short pulses. They are passed through the testing specimen and they will be reflected if there is any defect in the material. The ultrasonic waves are reflected, and if there is no defect, the ultrasonic waves are traveling till the end of the material and they are transmitted. So the transmitted signals will be received by the receiver, and both the generator and the receiver are connected to CRO. So in this CRO, the first pulse represents the generate signal of the ultrasonic pulses, initial pulses, and the next pulse shows the received ultrasonic signal. So here also, using the time interval, time taken by the initial pulse, time gap between the initial pulse and the received pulse, you can determine the thickness of the material. So the receiver receives the transmitted pulse. The second transducer, which is the receiver, receives the transmitted pulse with decreasing amplitude. So the receiver receives the transmitted pulse whose amplitude is decreased. The change in amplitude of the echo pulse gives the information of the type of the signal, shape and the size of the defect. We can determine using the amplitude, changing amplitude of the echo pulses. That means these reflected ultrasonic waves are again received by this transducer and they are connected to the CRO. So we can observe the echo pulses here. So the change in amplitude of the echo pulse gives the information about which type of defect is that, and what is the size of that defect and what is the shape of that defect can be identified. How to determine the thickness of the material? That is the time gap between the initial pulse and the end surface pulse. This is the initial pulse. The times of course, or let us consider, suppose the time of the initial pulse is T1 and the time at the end pulse of the end surface pulse is T2. The time difference between these two, time interval between these two, that is T2 difference T1, gives the thickness of the material. So we can determine the thickness of the material. So when the defect is large, if the defect is very large, that means if the defect is of this size, defect is very large, then the total ultrasonic waves will be reflected. The total ultrasonic signals will be reflected back. Nothing will be transmitted to the receiver. So the whole ultrasonic energy will be reflected back. The entire signal will be reflected back, and the no transmitted pulses will be received by the receiver. No transmitted pulse, because here the defect is very large, so nothing will be transmitted through the specimen. There will be no received signal. There is only echo pulse due to the large defect present in the testing specimen. So by receiving these signals onto the CRO, by measuring the change in amplitude of the received pulse, or by measuring the change in amplitude of the received pulse, or by measuring the time gap, time interval between the initial pulse and the final pulse, or the time interval between the initial pulse and the echo pulse, we will determine the thickness of the material as well as the type, size and the shape of the defect. Thus, we can use the through transmission system to determine the defect of the materials. And the next system is resonance testing system. The third method in the ultrasonic testing system is the resonance testing system. In resonance testing system, the phenomena of resonance is used to find the defects in materials. In this system, the phenomena of resonance is used to find the defects in materials. What is meant by resonance? If any two frequencies are matched, then resonance will occur. That means amplitude of vibration will be maximum. So that phenomena is used in resonance testing system. Here we will use two transducers. In this method also we will use two transducers. Here this is the transmitter, this is the first transducer, and this is the second transducer which acts as the receiver. Transmitter and the receiver. Two transducers are used, which are one acts as the transmitter and the other acts as the receiver. The transmitter, what is the work of the transmitter? The transmitter produces longitudinal ultrasonic waves of variable frequencies. The transmitter produces the ultrasonic waves of variable frequencies, of different frequencies. So, ultrasonic waves are, of course, they are longitudinal waves and they are passed through the testing specimen. So, various ultrasonic waves are passed through the testing, various frequencies of ultrasonic waves are passed through the testing specimen. So, longitudinal waves of different frequencies are made to propagate through the specimen till the resonance is observed. Till the resonance is observed. So, the various frequencies, various ultrasonic waves of different frequencies are passed through the specimen using the transmitter until the resonance is observed. So, when the resonance is observed, that resonant frequency is determined by CRO2. So, this receiver receives the resonant signal and that is connected to the CRO2. When the resonance is occurred and the resonance is observed, then that resonant frequency is determined by the CRO2. Then resonance frequency of the testing specimen is compared with the standard frequency. So the comparison between the standard frequency and the resonant frequency is done in the CR. Then the resonant frequency of the testing specimen is compared with the standard frequency. So the testing specimen is having some standard frequency, it is having some state of vibration. So that standard frequency is compared with the resonant frequency. So the change in the resonant frequency is used to find the defects. So using that signal, using that resonant frequency, we can determine the defects in the materials using resonance testing system. So up to now we have discussed the ultrasonic testing. So what are the advantages of the ultrasonic testing methods? Advantages of ultrasonic testing. It requires only one-side accessibility. That means if there is a large product is there, we can apply the ultrasonic, we can pass the ultrasonic waves from one side. No need to handle that material from both sides. From one side only we can pass the ultrasonic waves and we can find the thickness of that material as well as we can find the defects present in the material. So one side accessibility, it requires only one side accessibility, it is one advantage, and it is fast. Ultrasonic testing is very fast and it is highly accurate. The results will be highly accurate. Exact results, we will obtain exact results, and they are highly sensitive, high penetrate. Ultrasonic waves will penetrate into the deeper parts of the products. They are capable of detecting internal defects. Not only the defects present on the surface, they are capable of detecting the internal defects also. They are not hazardous, they are not harmful, and applicable for thickness measurements. Thickness, not only the defects, we can measure the thickness of that material also, and the detection of discontinuity. If there are any flaws or discontinuities inside that material, those defects can be or discontinuities can be detected, and the determination of material properties. The properties of the materials can be detected using ultrasonic testing. So they can provide the size of that discontinuity. Not only detecting the discontinuity, we can find out the size of that discontinuity also using this method. And they are very sensitive to planar type of discontinuity. Planar type, that means the discontinuities of the form like a plane, that means they are like a straight line. Okay, that planar type of discontinuity will be detected easily by ultrasonic testing, and suitable for automation, and applicable for thick materials. They are applicable for thick materials, very bulk materials, and equipment are mostly portable. Ultrasonic testing material equipment, that means the experimental arrangement which we have used in the pulse echo testing method, or through transmission testing method, or in resonance testing method, the equipment are very portable, easy to carry, and easy to locate, and suitable for field inspection. These are the advantages of the ultrasonic testing. And whereas what are the limitations of ultrasonic testing? They are not capable of detecting defects whose plane is parallel to the direction of sound beam. We are passing the sound beam like this. If the defect is, suppose this is the testing specimen, if the defect is parallel to the direction of the sound beam, they will not be detected. Only the defect is detected only when it is perpendicular to the direction of the sound beam. Those defects only detected. If the defect is parallel to the direction of the sound beam, those defects cannot be detected. That is one of the disadvantage, and they are not suitable for thin section material. This testing is applicable for only thick materials and they are not suitable for thin materials. Thin materials which are very lean. For thin materials, this testing is not suitable. They require calibration blocks and reference standards. So for using ultrasonic testing, we should have some reference levels, reference standards and calibration blocks. So that is one of the limitations, and they require high knowledge to predict the results. So to analyze the results after obtaining the signals, to analyze those results, high knowledge will be required. Okay, so highly skilled person can only analyze those results. They require use of couplant to enhance the sound transmission. So as we have discussed in the immersion transducers, we have to introduce the couplant between the testing material and the transducer. So use of couplant is necessary. That is one of the limitation of the ultrasonic testing. So what are the applications of ultrasonic testing? Ultrasonic testing is having applications in various fields. Ultrasonic testing is used for quality control and material inspection in industries. In coming to the industrial applications, in industries, ultrasonic testing is used for quality control, to determine the quality of the products fabricated, and the material inspection. For a material inspection in industries, ultrasonic testing method is highly suitable. So detecting failures of rails and earth moving equipments and mill rolls. So in these applications also, in railways we will use to detect any failures of rails, and in earth moving equipments and in mill rolls also we can use ultrasonic testing. So quality check of aircraft sections and in submarines, refinery and chemical processing equipment and pressure vessels. So for all these components, while all these components are fabricated, they are tested, their quality check will be done using the ultrasonic testing. So to inspect the pipe and plate weldments. So when the weldings are done for the pipes or for the plates, those weldings are perfectly fitted or not, that will be checked by the ultrasonic testing. So to inspect the pins, bolts and shafts for cracking. So if there are any cracks in the pins, bolts or shafts fabricated in industries, those will be detected using the ultrasonic testing. So to inspect the internal corrosion occurred inside the equipment, the internal corrosion will also be detected using the ultrasonic testing. There are many more applications for ultrasonic testing as well as for NDT and as well as for ultrasonic waves also. So you can Google them. So some of them we have discussed. So coming to the summary of the ultrasonic waves, what we have discussed in this chapter. So initially we have discussed what is the introduction, that is what are ultrasonic waves, what we call ultrasonic waves, and what are the properties of ultrasonic waves, that we have discussed in introduction. And in the next topic we have discussed the production of ultrasonic waves. Using two methods. First one is magnetostriction method, and the second method is piezoelectric method. Using these two methods, we can produce the ultrasonic waves of various frequencies. So we have discussed these two methods, and we have discussed the Detection of ultrasonic waves. Detection methods of ultrasonic waves. When ultrasonic waves are passed through the medium, how to detect those ultrasonic waves? The presence of ultrasonic waves can be detected using various methods that we have discussed in this method. So, we have discussed what is meant by a transducer and what is meant by a couplant. And next, what is meant by NDT, non-destructive testing. NDT. In NDT, we have various methods. Among those, we have discussed ultrasonic testing. In ultrasonic testing, we have three methods: pulse echo testing method, and through transmission method, resonance ultrasonic testing method we have discussed. And what are the advantages, limitations of ultrasonic testing, and applications of ultrasonic testing as well as for NDT and ultrasonic waves. What are those applications we have discussed in this chapter. So this is the overall view of the ultrasonic waves which we have in engineering physics.
In ultrasonics, we can do problems. Let us observe one problem. In this problem, it is given a quartz crystal of thickness is 0.001 meters. Thickness of the crystal is given, that is T. Thickness T is equal to 0.001 meters. It is the given data. Is vibrating at resonance. Calculate the fundamental frequency given. Y means Young's modulus here. Y for quartz crystal is 7.9 into 10 power 10. So Young's modulus Y is given 10 power 10 newtons per meter square, and rho for quartz. Rho is the density. Rho is equal to 2650 kg per meter cube. So these values are given. Y, rho and thickness T are given. We have to calculate the fundamental frequency of the crystal. So these are the given data. T, Young's modulus, density are given. We have to calculate the frequency. So frequency is equal to 1 by 2T into square root of Y by rho is the formula. Substituting all these values in this formula, we can calculate the frequency. So all these parameters are in SI units only, so no need to convert. So what are the parameters we have to substitute here? F is equal to 1 by 2 into thickness. Thickness is 0.001 into square root of Y by rho. Y is here 7.9 into 10 power 10 by rho 2650. So by substituting all these values and simplifying, we will get the frequency F as 2730 kilohertz. Initially we will get 2.730 into 10 power 6 hertz or 2730 kilohertz. So in this way we can calculate the problems in ultrasonics.